Hey, come here, look! I found somewhere we haven't raided yet! So let's rewind back to medieval Britain. People were worshipping God, people were also dying of dysentery, and all around it was just an unpleasant time. Oh, and the Vikings had also started raiding the coast. In 793, the Vikings landed at Lindisfarne in England and raided the monastery located on the island, which, in all honesty, probably worked out for them pretty well. Stop, cretin! You may not desecrate this holy land! But why? Because God. Man, I thought that would have worked out better. Anyway, this soon became a problem because Vikings kept looting monasteries, villages, and cities all throughout England and Scotland, and even eventually the Vikings started landing in locations like Ireland and Wales. But how did this go for the Vikings in the long run? It actually went pretty well for the Vikings, and by 866 they had even established the second largest city in the British Isles, being York. At this point, the Vikings were extraordinarily powerful, not only in England, but in the only other sensible place. You're right, it's Ireland. While they didn't have as much control in Ireland as they did in England, they still set up some cities like Dublin and Limerick. But after a little bit, the Vikings had assimilated the British Isles into the Viking realm, such as many other places like Denmark and Iceland. But come the late 800s, Viking England had started unraveling after the Anglo-Saxons decided that this whole being raided thing wasn't their cup of tea. They decided to fight back against the Vikings, and in 878, Alfred the Great defeated the Vikings at the Battle of Edington, destroying much of the Vikings' control in the British Isles. And in 937, the Vikings lost the Battle of Brunanburh, which led to the Anglo-Saxons taking over York and the surrounding Viking strongholds. But it wasn't till 1066 when the Vikings fought the Anglo-Saxons, led by Harold Godwinson, at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where the Vikings were ambushed and completely destroyed. And that finally marks the end of Vikings in Britain. And all these battles fought against the Vikings showed that the Anglo-Saxons were dominant power and would let nobody invade their country. Except that only a couple weeks later the Normans took control over the entirety of England, completely destroying the Anglo-Saxon armies. Don't you love a little bit of historical irony?